So you mentioned this doctor is it Bellevue?
Bellevue.
Okay. He has taught you a lot of things. You've taught him a lot of things. Do you continue to educate yourself and do research on this particular topic?
That's a good question. So, I mean, last week I had somebody who was kind of upset with me over something I posted, was like, well, what did you go to school for? And I'm like, what does that matter? Like, what did I go to school for? You know,
this is
like,
a good topic.
Yeah. Like, what did I go to school for? I'm like, what did you go to school for? But I mean, so like even there was a time in my nutrition and performance coaching business where I was kind of like, you know, I'm not a doctor. I don't have like a PhD or whatever. And I kind of had this like imposter syndrome, you know, like where I was scared to like really put it out there and like really share.
Yeah.
But then what happened is I was my own best client. Like I was getting results. Like I lived the part. I looked the part. I could speak from experience. And then I started to get more and more and more people where I helped get the same results that I did. And so then I had this like huge list of client testimonials. And then all of a sudden I had this huge list of pro athlete client testimonials. And I was like, all right, I know what I'm doing. These people are referring me. No pro athlete gives a shit what I went to school for. They just said, hey, like you got X so-and-so results. Like I want those results. Like,
can you get it done?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can you get it done? And so I think the fallacy is that like we should be getting this information from a doctor. Like doctors, some of my best friends in the world are doctors. Like God bless them, I love them, but none of them are in shape. None of them know shit about any of this, right?
Funny. Yeah.
And I love them. They're way smarter than me. They probably did way better than me on the SAT or ACT, and like I could probably not even get into med school. But the point is like they don't have the functional knowledge of this stuff, and like it's just not part of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Like none of this is part of medicine. So I spent, you know, probably 10, 15 years rigorously learning, always bringing new stuff into my head. And then eventually I was like, you know what? Like nothing's changed. Like none of the things that I believe in have really changed in the last 10 or 15 years. Mm-hmm. And so I think like I have a solid foundation of like what I need to teach, and I just need to keep sharing this with people. Mm-hmm. Now, I still, you know, I've pulled myself out of coaching the last 2.5 years. I've stopped coaching. So in the last 2.5 years, I haven't really kept up on anything new or, you know, trends. But to be honest, like my advice didn't really change in those 10 to 15 years. Like It was pretty much the same over and over. Now, when I talk to Dr. Biskup or other high-level professionals, it's usually about like, what are you seeing anecdotally or like in your practice with XYZ? So for example, like this supplement, this diet, this peptide, this, that, whatever. You know, so they want to know, like, because some of those things don't have big samples of data or tests or research, they want to know, like, what are you seeing? You know, like, what have you seen? Who has this helped? And so that's a little bit different. But I would say on a daily basis now, I feel like I've put in my, you know, 10,000 hours in this subject, and it's like, you know, it doesn't need to be as freaking, like, it does not need to be as complicated as people make it.
Right.
Like, there's always going to be a new supplement. There's always going to be a new fad. There's always going to be a new thing. But lift heavy weights, sleep, and eat real food, and shit, your life's going to change.
Right.